What is an American game changer? In my opinion, it's someone with a real opinion. It's someone willing to stand out and fight for something they truly believe in. In the next few episodes of American Game Changers, we're going to start adding a panel of young Americans and ask them a variety of questions and get to know their opinions on what they think is happening in the world. If you're interested in being on this panel, DM the American Game Changers on Instagram. I really hope we get as many different perspectives on the show as we can. But before we do all that, here's a little preview of a conversation I recently had with Manu Meel from Bridge USA and Marcus Zelada from Cal State Fullerton. My question to them was, what is America's role in the world? Well, first and foremost, I want to welcome you guys to American Game Changers in the Epoch Times. First person on my panel is Manu Meel with Bridge USA and Marcos Zelada with Cal State Fullerton. So my first question to you guys is, what is America's place in the world? We recently just gave $15 billion, close to $15 billion to Ukraine. And we've also been entangled in a lot of conflicts throughout our years, from Iraq to Syria to Israel. And my question is, should America be entangled in so many different affairs? Let's start with you, Manu.
Thanks, Nick. I just want to say that I think that question is very important. So when we think about our politics right now, we think about our foreign affairs. I think about our country as a house. And I think about Ukraine, Russia, and all the other countries as different houses. And right now, our house is struggling internally. So how can we go and protect and make sure that other houses are strong? Our foreign policy can only be as strong as we are as a country domestically. If our house is hurting, we're not going to be able to take care of people that live in other countries. And so most importantly, when I think about our political situation, when I think about foreign affairs, I think that it is very important for the US to have a foreign policy that invests domestically. And when we invest domestically, then we can help countries abroad.
Absolutely. Marcos, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with Manu on quite a bit there. I believe that the United States of America does have a role in the world's platform as an example. I believe that we need to be strong at home in order to be that example. We can ensure safety throughout the world and peace through strength, but we can't do that if we have domestic issues that are undermining our ability to be an example and set that security through strength and through stability here at home. We cannot help anyone else if we're crumbling underneath our own shells.
Very interesting. There's an argument, though, that I read recently that, we have a lot of issues here domestically, though. I mean, we have a homeless problem, gas prices are going up. We have a lot of domestic issues going on. Should that not be a focus right now? And we'll start with you, Marcos.
Yes, absolutely. So domestic issues are the most important issue that we should be talking about and trying to fix. We have rising crime. We have, like you said, homeless issues in California and at the national level. We cannot worry about the international implications of Russia invading Ukraine when we don't have safety and security here at home. We simply can't. We can't spend billions of dollars in foreign aid when we don't have a secured southern border and we're being invaded by drugs and illegal immigrants at the southern border, but we're worried about the border and sovereignty of another nation thousands and thousands of miles away. Again, we can do our best for other countries and other nations when we are secure at home and have strength at home and stability at home.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Marcos's fundamental premise that I think right now we have to focus domestically. I disagree with Marcos in two areas. I think the first one is that I think the focus domestically ought not to be on issues like the border, because I think that problems like that are a little overblown, but rather they need to be focused on things like income inequality and making sure that our education systems are strong, making sure that we have the strong economy to actually support a strong immigrant population. Now, obviously, there's issues at the border, but making claims, in my opinion, in the current foreign stage where we think that our sovereignty is under attack. I mean, ask the people of Ukraine. I think it would be quite the insult to say that our sovereignty is under threat when their country is being invaded. That said, where I would also, I think Marcos and I probably agree, is that the United States has to underpin the global order. Right now, the global order is under threat. And the only way that we urgently make sure that we are there to support not only our foreign allies, but to ensure that our way of life is protected, because ultimately we live in a globalized world, we have to do everything we can to ensure that we know that we have to ultimately look outward.
Absolutely. Marcos, your response.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I would say, first of all, I don't believe that it's the correct characterization to say what I'm talking about is that the nation of the United States of America is losing its sovereignty. However, the issue of the southern border is something that should be absolutely mentioned, because the idea that this invasion is occurring, it's causing several problems, of course, in Ukraine. It has very different aspects to it. However, the blood that is being shed because of the issues at the southern border are also there here at home. We have drug overdoses increasing. Fentanyl is being pushed into tons through our southern border. But I would agree, that's not the biggest issue. It's not the only issue. Personally, I might think it's the biggest issue, but you're right. Our economy is a shambles. We have an administration that's pumping up inflation numbers while claiming it was transitionary and then blaming it on the Ukrainian crisis and Putin, right? We have unemployment and employment issues that are unsolved with numbers that don't make sense, that are being shed lies about through the administration. So I would agree, we need to focus on education, our economy. How do we bring inflation down? Energy independence, right? We lost our energy independence, and then Russia felt emboldened to do what they're doing. So, yes, I would agree. The Ukrainian situation, obviously, that's a very true example of a sovereignty being threatened. Um, the southern border is a big issue. It should be one of the main issues in Americans' minds. And it's not based on race or anything, but it is truly an impact on our economy and our well being as a nation. But again, we agree at the same place. We need to fix at home issues in order for us to be able to do more good abroad, whether that be through ways of, like I mentioned, security through strength, or if they want to send money over, they can do that too. I might not agree with it, but we can't do that if we're not stable at home.
So my last question for you guys is, there's a lot of talks that I hear. What if we pull out altogether? What if on a humanitarian front, on foreign affairs, on foreign aid front, on all sorts of, if we pull out on all foreign involvement, what does that do to our country? And we'll start with you, Manu.
I think that would be a really bad idea, to say the least. And the reason why I think that's a really bad idea is because ultimately, the United States and its credibility is built on the fact that people count on us. People want us to be there. People want our help. Leadership is a right, and we've earned that right. We have to protect that right. And the only way that we ensure that we continue to move forward as leaders is to protect and be involved in the world. Now, that should not be conflated with the fact that we need to have domestic prioritization currently, because I don't think we can be an effective actor without having a strong domestic economy, domestic country, like Marcos said. I might disagree with Marcos in a couple of the specifics, but I think broadly we agree on that. But most importantly, Nick, the world looks to the United States. There's a reason why it looks to the United States, and the world would be a whole lot dangerous and a whole lot more unstable if we pulled out in every way, shape, or form.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, our nation has been used by the globalists, has been used by the UN in order to be this safety net for the world. We become the world police. There are times that have been throughout history and in our current global climate that are necessary. We do need to have a footprint in certain places for the safety at home and to maintain peace in the world. However, we should not be everywhere. We should not be getting used by the UN. European nations have not been putting up their side of the deal to help out in foreign aid and military forces through the UN. So we have to pull back. We have to be at home. Going out all at once would be terrible. I think most people agree with Joe Biden pulling out of Afghanistan, but not how he did it. It has to be transitionary, it has to be strategic and thought out. It cannot be an abrupt overnight decision, but we do slowly need to transition to more America first policies, focusing on home issues instead of being the world police, putting out these billions and billions of dollars when we have homeless veterans here at home and all these different things that no one else is doing or matching us at the same time. America is extremely benevolent. We give out more donations at the world stage than any other, and that is through private donations, American citizens from their own pockets. So we will always have that sense of responsibility, and like Manu said, that sense of leadership that's been earned and should be maintained. However, that doesn't mean being involved in every conflict. We've seen that Americans' history on taking out dictators and trying to intervene has sometimes led to more bad than good. So it needs to be strategic and when necessary, not as a blanket overall, be involved in everything as the world police.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. Really insight. I really loved it. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Hope to see you guys soon.